Welcome to the 1 Hour Guide by Anil Natu.
Great to be here.
Today, we're doing something a bit different. We're embarking on a really deep dive into Josh Kaufman's The Personal MBA, Master the Art of Business.
Fantastic book. Very practical.
Exactly. And our goal isn't just to summarize it. We really want to unpack the practical power inside each chapter, you know?
Right. Pull out the core ideas.
Yeah, and use some examples, maybe some case studies, just to illustrate the concepts so you, the learner, get a really tangible sense of these business fundamentals.
Think of it as hitting the key points of a business education, but much faster.
And without the massive tuition fee. We're drawing heavily from the Personal MBA, Master the Art of Business 1 Hour Guide for this structure, so 10 chapters in total.
Yep. A comprehensive look. It's all about actionable intelligence, not just theory. Understanding how businesses actually work.
Okay, let's jump into chapter 1, Value Creation. Kaufman says it's the foundation.
Absolutely fundamental.
It starts simply, right? Create something useful that people are willing to pay for. But then he brings in the 5 core parts of every business.
Value creation, marketing, sales, value delivery, and finance.
And the key insight, I think, isn't just listing them.
No, it's how they interlock. They have to work together.
Like with Tesla, maybe? Their value wasn't just an EV, it was a desirable EV. High performance, cool factor.
Right. And that drove their marketing, their direct sales model, even building the charging network for delivery.
And if any one of those pieces were weak, the whole thing could have, well, sputtered.
Definitely.
Huh.
Businesses often get fixated on the product, the value creation bit, and forget the rest.
Which ties into the iron law of the market.
Oh, yeah. A tough one. Your operational brilliance doesn't matter much if nobody actually wants what you're selling.
Google Glass comes to mind. Technically amazing for its time.
But the market just wasn't there. Not at that price. Not solving a big enough problem, people felt. It didn't hit those core human drives Kaufman talks about.
Acquire, bond, learn, field, defend. Which drive does your offer tap into? That's a powerful question.
It forces you to think beyond just features. What fundamental need are you meeting?
Kaufman also gives us those 10 ways to evaluate a market. Urgency, market size, pricing potential.
Things like cost of customer acquisition often get glossed over early on.
Totally. Great idea, but if acquiring each customer costs more than they'll ever spend, uh-oh.
Yeah, your model's broken from the start. And he talks about motivations too. The mercenary versus the crusader. Profit versus mission.
Knowing where you lean helps guide decisions, doesn't it? Are you purely about the bottom line, or is there a deeper why?
Finding a balance is usually best. Or at least being aware of your main driver.
He lists 12 standard forms of value, too. It's not just physical products.
Services, subscriptions, shared resources, resale, even aggregating an audience. Lots of ways to create value.
And enhancing perceived value. That's key. Bundling things together, or the opposite, modularity.
And the hassle premium. People pay extra for convenience, for someone else to handle the annoying parts. Think grocery delivery.
Definitely. Chapter 1 wraps up with prototypes and iteration, getting something out there fast.
The iteration cycle. Build, measure, learn, and crucially, iteration velocity. How fast can you go through that cycle?
Don't wait for perfect. Use minimum viable offers to test assumptions.
Shadow testing is great for this. See if people will commit, conceptually, before you build the whole thing.
Especially testing that critical assumption, will they actually pay the price you have in mind?
Yeah, a big one.
Yeah.
So easy to get wrong.
Okay, let's shift gears. Chapter 2, Marketing. Capturing attention, generating demand.
Because the best value proposition is useless if nobody knows about it.
Kaufman lays out the stages of marketing. Get attention, earn receptivity, build interest, create a connection, drive action. Sequential. Sort of.
And the first hurdle is just getting noticed. What's a common pitfall there?
I think it's broadcasting too widely instead of zoning in on the probable purchaser.
Right. If you sell specialized engineering software, advertising during the Super Bowl is probably not the best use of funds.
You need to find where those engineers hang out online, what they read.
And be remarkable, stand out.
Like that Dollar Shave Club video. It wasn't just about cheap razors. It was funny, relatable, different, worth talking about.
That's remarkability. Then there's crafting the message based on levels of awareness. Is the person aware of the problem? Aware of solutions? Aware of your specific solution?
You tailor the message accordingly and always focus on the end result.
Benefits over features. Always. People buy the whole, not the drill.
Using demonstration helps, showing the value. Qualification ensures you're talking to the right people.
And understanding the point of market entry, Where does someone typically start looking for a solution like yours?
To stimulate desire, techniques like visualization help them imagine the positive outcome, framing how you position the offer.
And free. A powerful tool but needs strategy. Free trials, freemium models.
But permission marketing is really the gold standard now, isn't it? Building an audience that wants to hear from you.
Way more valuable than interrupting people. The hook keeps them engaged. That email subject line, the opening of a video.
Narrative storytelling is huge too. Brands with compelling stories connect better.
Even controversy can work, carefully, but it's risky.
Very risky. Ultimately, marketing is about building reputation and trust.
Crucial, especially online. Reviews, testimonials, social proof, they all build that trust.
Which leads nicely into Chapter 3, sales. Turning that interest, that trust, into actual revenue.
The bridge between marketing and delivering the value. It's about helping people decide.
Kaufman calls a sale a transaction. It needs belief in the offer, trust in you, and a feeling that the price is justified.
Building that trust often starts with finding common ground, understanding their world, their problems.
Being authentic helps too, not just pushing a product.
Definitely. Then there's pricing. The pricing uncertainty principle is often more art than science.
He covers cost-based, competitor-based, value-based, dynamic.
And really champions value-based pricing. Why is that often better?
Because it aligns the price with the benefit the customer receives. If you save them $10,000, charging based just on your costs leaves a lot of value on the table.
Exactly. But you have to be careful about price transition shock if you change prices later.
How can you soften that blow?
Maybe grandfathering old customers, offering different tiers, clearly communicating the why behind the change.
Good selling techniques he mentions include value-based selling, hammering home those benefits, and education-based selling.
Positioning yourself as an expert advisor, not just a vendor, helping them understand their own needs better.
Comparing your offer to the next best alternative is useful too. What would they do if they didn't buy from you?
Highlighting your unique edge. And exclusivity can be a driver limited time offers, special editions.
And remembering those universal currencies. Resources. Money, yes, but also time and energy.
Your solution might save them hours of frustration. That's valuable.
Negotiation has 3 dimensions. Substance, the deal. Relationship, the connection. Process, how you negotiate.
And people have persuasion resistance. You need a buffer maybe, some room to move.
Finally, overcoming objections and closing. Things like risk reversal, a strong guarantee, or reactivation, following up with old leads.
It's not about pressure. It's about facilitating a good decision for them, a mutual win.
All right, Chapter 4, value delivery. This is where the rubber meets the road, fulfilling those promises.
Yep, making good on what marketing and sales offered, critical for satisfaction and retention.
Step 1 is understand the value stream. Map out everything from order to delivery.
Why start there?
Because you can't fix what you don't understand. It reveals bottlenecks, waste, potential failure points.
Makes sense. Then, step 2, choose the right distribution channel, physical store, online, direct, through partners.
Needs to fit the product and the customer. You wouldn't sell cheap widgets in a luxury boutique.
Or expect instant download for a bespoke suit.
Step 3, manage expectations with the expectation effect. Satisfaction equals performance minus expectations.
So under-promise and over-deliver is often the mantra, right? Or at least be realistic.
Exactly. Step 4, deliver with predictability and quality. Consistency builds trust. Using quality signals helps too.
Like Apple's packaging you mentioned earlier. It signals premium before you even turn the device on.
Step 5, maximize throughput, the rate of delivery, but not at the expense of quality.
It's a balancing act, essential for scaling up.
Which leads to Step 6, duplicate and multiply with systems. This is how you achieve scale.
Standardized, repeatable processes. Think fast food chains, franchise models, consistency through systems.
Step 7, create competitive advantages via delivery. Faster, more reliable, more convenient. That can be a moat. Use force multipliers.
Things that give you disproportionate results for the effort, like automation or a particularly efficient process.
Step 8, systemize operations for reliability. Turn those repeatable processes into robust, documented systems. Reduce errors.
And step 9, prioritize with triage. When things get busy or resources are tight, focus on what's most critical for the customer experience.
So value delivery isn't just logistics. It's core to the customer relationship.
Absolutely. A great delivery experience leads to loyalty and word of mouth.
Okay, Chapter 5, finance. Understanding the flow of money. The engine room.
Can't run a business without knowing the numbers.
Step 1. Understand profit and profit margin. Simple difference. Revenue minus expenses. Margin shows efficiency.
Why is margin so important?
It shows your buffer, how much room you have for error, for reinvestment, for surviving slow periods. Healthy margins are key.
Then step 2, focus on value capture and sufficiency. You created value, now you need to capture enough of it as revenue to be sustainable.
Step 3. Master the 3 core financial statements. Cash flow.
Income statement, balance sheet.
Right. They seem intimidating, but they just tell the story of your money, where it comes from, where it goes, what you own and owe.
In step 4, use financial ratios and cost-benefit analysis, tools to diagnose health and make decisions. Is this investment worth it?
Step 5 gives us 4 ways to boost revenue. More customers, bigger transactions, more frequent purchases, or...
Higher prices. The straightforward one, but sometimes the hardest.
Which links to step 6. Improve pricing power. The ability to raise prices without losing customers. And understanding customer value.
Like lifetime value, LTV, how much a customer is worth over time, and allowable acquisition cost, AAC, how much you can spend to get that customer.
Critical metrics. Step 7. Control costs. Fixed costs, variable costs. Watch out for incremental degradation, small costs adding up. Know you're breaking them.
And things like amortization, spreading costs over time, and purchasing power.
Step 8. Manage cash flow. Cash is king, right? The cash flow cycle, when money comes in versus when it goes out, is vital.
You can be profitable on paper, but run out of cash if the timing is wrong. Internal controls like segregation of duties prevent errors and fraud.
Step 9. Make smart financial decisions. Considering opportunity cost, what you give up by choosing one option, and the time value of money.
$1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. Compounding is powerful. Leverage, borrowing can amplify gains, but also losses.
Risky stuff. And finally, step 10. Secure funding and evaluate investments. Hierarchy of funding. Personal funds first, then maybe loans, then equity. Calculate ROI.
And avoid the sunk cost fallacy. Don't keep throwing good money after bad just because you've already spent some.
Tough decisions sometimes, but necessary. Financial literacy is non-negotiable for business.
Absolutely. It underpins everything else.
Okay, halfway there. Now we shift focus a bit with Chapter 6, the human mind, understanding how we think.
Which is crucial because business is ultimately about people, customers, employees, yourself.
Step 1, recognize the caveman syndrome. Our brains evolved for a different environment.
We have ancient wiring running modern software, basically. Leads to biases and predictable irrationality.
Step 2, understand performance requirements basics like sleep, food, and brain structure. Kaufman uses the onion brain metaphor.
Reptilian core, mammalian layer, human prefrontal cortex on top. Different parts, sometimes conflicting drives.
Step 3, grasp perceptual control. Our minds try to maintain internal reference levels, how we think things should be. When reality mismatches, we act.
It's like a thermostat for our experience. Explains motivation.
Step 4, leverage guiding structures, our mental models, and reorganization, how we adapt those models when they don't work. Learning.
Step 5, understand conflict, internal battles between different desires or goals, and pattern matching, how the brain uses past experience to interpret the present.
Step 6, use mental simulation, running scenarios in our heads, and interpretation, the power of reframing situations. Is it a disaster or an opportunity?
Our perspective shapes our reality to a large extent.
Step 7, motivate and inhibit with awareness, understanding what drives action and what applies the brakes.
Step 8, recognize status signals. Social cues about hierarchy and belonging and malfunctions when these systems go awry.
Step 9, account for loss aversion. We hate losing more than we like winning. And threat lockdown, how fear shuts down higher thinking.
Explains why people resist change or panic under pressure.
And step 10, navigate cognitive limits and biases. Cognitive scope limitation, we can only handle so much info. Association, linking unrelated things, absence blindness, failing to notice what's not there.
Understanding these quirks helps us communicate better, make better decisions, and understand customers more deeply.
Chapter 7 flows directly from that, working with yourself, managing your own mind and actions.
Because if you can't manage yourself, managing a business is going to be tough.
Step 1, overcome acrasia, doing things against your better judgment like procrastination and focus with monoidealism, concentrating on one thing at a time.
The opposite of multitasking. Step 2 is avoid the cognitive switching penalty.
Right, multitasking feels productive, but constantly switching tasks actually costs time and mental energy.
Step 3, Use 4 methods of completion for any task. Do it, delegate it, automate it, or eliminate it.
Brutally simple, but effective. Step 4. Prioritize most important tasks, MITs, and goals. Focus on high-leverage activities. Align states of being with achievements.
It's not just about what you do, but who you need to be to achieve it.
Step 5. Build habits, automatic behaviors, and prime your mind, using cues to trigger desired actions or mindsets.
Step 6. Make effective decisions and plan action. Use the 5-fold why to find root causes, 5-fold how to break down tasks, and always identify the very next action.
Keeps you moving forward. Step 7. Use externalization, getting thoughts out of your head onto paper or screen, and self-elicitation, asking yourself structured questions.
Offload the mental clutter. Step 8. Apply thought experiments, mental what-ifs, and avoid procrastination traps like Parkinson's law.
Work expands to fill the time available. Set deadlines.
Step 9. Manage biases. We all have them. Excessive self-regard, confirmation bias, seeking info that confirms our beliefs. Hindsight bias, I knew it all along.
And manage your energy. Recognize performance load and your natural energy cycles. Work sprints, then rest.
Step 10. Recover from stress. It's inevitable, so build in recovery. Cultivate mystique. Don't overshare everything. Avoid the hedonic treadmill, always chasing the next thing, and the comparison fallacy.
Comparing your insides to someone else's outsides.
Step 11 is huge. Take responsibility. Strong locus of control. Manage attachment to outcomes. Do personal R&D. Overcome limiting beliefs. Avoid malinvestment of your time energy. Understand the necessity of choice.
You can't do everything. And finally, step 12, beware the arrival fallacy.
The belief that happiness waits at the finish line. True fulfillment is often found in the process, the journey itself.
Okay, chapter 8, working with others, interpersonal effectiveness. Business is a team sport.
Can't do it alone. Understanding people is key.
Step 1, understand power, the ability to influence behavior, and comparative advantage focusing, where you're relatively more efficient than others, even if not the absolute best.
Step 2, minimize communication overhead. Too many meetings, confusing messages slow things down. Emphasize importance. Make sure people know why something matters.
Step 3, promote safety, psychological safety, where people feel safe to speak up, take risks. Use the golden trifecta for motivation.
Appreciation, meaningful work, and a sense of progress. Powerful motivators.
Step 4, clarify reason why and commander's intent. Don't just give tasks, give context, and the desired end state allows for initiative.
Step 5, earn regard, build trust and respect. Combat bystander apathy. Make sure responsibility is clearly assigned.
If everyone's responsible, no one is. Step 6, plan realistically. Avoid the planning fallacy. We tend to underestimate time and cost. Use forcing functions, external constraints to ensure things get done.
Like scheduling a demo forces you to finish the feature. Step 7, utilize referrals, powerful source of leads and talent. And planning, the tendency to form groups with shared values.
Step 8, manage group dynamics through convergence, exploring options, and divergence, making decisions. Use authority appropriately.
Legitimate leadership, not just bossing people around. Step 9, leverage, commitment and consistency, people like to follow through, and social proof. We look to others to guide our behavior.
Powerful influence tools. Step 10, avoid biases in others. Incentive-caused bias, people act based on their incentives. Modal bias, assuming everyone thinks like you. Attribution error, blaming personality over situation. The mind-reading fallacy.
Assuming you know what others are thinking, just ask.
Step 11, set boundaries. Define acceptable behavior. Use the principle of charity. Assume positive intent in others' actions, at least initially.
And step 12, adopt option orientation. Think in possibilities, not just fixed paths. And effective management, coordinating people toward goals, including performance-based hiring.
Focus on what candidates can do, not just their resume.
All right, nearing the end. Chapter 9, understanding systems, seeing the bigger picture.
Businesses aren't just collections of parts, they're interconnected systems. Success depends on optimizing the whole.
Step 1, recognize that all businesses are systems. Seems obvious, but we often act like they aren't.
Step 2, apply Gall's law to system design. Complex systems that work evolve from simple systems that worked. Start simple, then elaborate.
Don't try to build the Death Star on day 1.
Good analogy. Step 3, understand the roles of flow, movement, stock accumulation, and slack, flexibility, buffer within a system.
Slack isn't just waste. It allows the system to absorb shocks and adapt.
Yeah.
Too much efficiency can be brittle.
Step 4, identify and remove constraints or bottlenecks. Where is the system getting stuck? Fixing that point has the biggest impact.
Like in manufacturing, the slowest machine dictates the line's output.
Step 5. Use feedback loops to stabilize or amplify. Mechanisms that adjust system behavior based on results. Balancing loops maintain stability. Reinforcing loops create growth or decline.
Step 6. Build autocatalytic systems for growth. Systems that improve or grow stronger the more they're used. Think network effects.
Step 7. Adapt to your environment through selection tests. The market constantly tests your business. Adapt or die.
Step 8. Account for entropy, the natural tendency of systems to decline or become disordered over time, and the unpredictable. Stuff happens.
Black swans. Step 9. Respect interdependence. Changes in one part affect others, often unexpectedly second-order effects.
Pull one thread and the whole tapestry might shift. Step 10. Prepare for failure with resilient design. Build in redundancy, backups, flexibility. Don't assume smooth sailing.
Systems thinking helps you see the forest, not just the trees.
And finally, Chapter 10. Analyzing systems. Breaking down that complexity to make smart improvements.
You understand it's a system, now how do you actually make it better? Step 1. Deconstruct the system into subsystems. Make it manageable.
Break the big scary problem into smaller, understandable pieces.
Step 2. Identify key inputs, flows, and outputs for each subsystem. Map how things move and transform.
Step 3. Create flowcharts and diagrams. Visualize the system. Often reveals problems you wouldn't see in text.
Step 4. Measure performance with key performance indicators, KPIs. Collect data on outcomes. What that's measured gets managed.
But Step 5. Avoid garbage in, garbage out. Ensure the data you're collecting is accurate and relevant.
Bad data leads to bad decisions. Step 6. Understand tolerance and variance. Not every fluctuation is a crisis. Distinguish normal noise from real signals.
Step 7. Practice analytical honesty. Be objective. Don't torture the data until it confesses what you want to hear.
Easier said than done sometimes. Step 8. Consider the context. Data means little without understanding the surrounding circumstances.
Step 9. Use representative samples if you can't measure everything. Ensure your sample truly reflects the whole.
Step 10. Be mindful of margins of error and use ratios for comparison. Recognize uncertainty. Ratios provide context. For example, profit margin, not just profit.
Step 11. A classic mistake. Avoid mistaking correlation for causation. Just because two things happen together doesn't mean one caused the other.
So important. Step 12. Use proxies when direct measurement isn't possible. Find indirect indicators.
Like using website traffic as a proxy for brand awareness, maybe.
Step 13. Segment the data. Look at different customer groups, regions, etc., and humanize it. Remember, there are real people behind the numbers.
So analyzing systems isn't just about spreadsheets. It's about understanding the dynamics to make confident, sustainable improvements. And that really rounds out the core concepts from the Personal MBA, Master the Art of Business 1-Hour Guide.
Wow, yeah, that covers a huge amount of ground, from value creation all the way to system analysis.
It really is a comprehensive framework for thinking about business.
So we've journeyed through all 10 chapters of the Personal MBA. Hopefully this deep dive gives you a practical sense of the core business acumen packed into this book.
It provides a really solid foundation or a great refresher on the fundamentals that drive business success.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us today. Buy the book at the 1-Hour Guide website for more business insights.
It's well worth digging into these concepts further. Consider how they apply specifically to what you're working on.
This has been the 1-Hour Guide by Anil Nathu. Thanks for listening.